Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, as always, coming to you from ESPN 97.5, 92.5. I know you're looking, Brad. I know you're looking.
What am I looking at?
Looking for the ship shirt. You're looking for the ship shirt. But with this bad weather, with this bad, mad Greek weather that we've been having as of late, something must have happened with the shipment. The shipment didn't come in on time. So just bear with me. They'll be here sooner than later. But let's just get into the show. Let's get
What shirt are you wearing?
I'm just wearing my Jack shirt right now.
You're looking real Jack, baby.
Looking real Jack, but I'm not feeling real Jack right now because my back is spasmed out. Spinneroonie, man. This Spinneroonie got me locked up right now. I'm trying to unlock my hips right now. I didn't get a chance to, once I got that text message, I didn't have time to warm up. I didn't have time to warm up, and the old hips right now locked up on me a little bit. I put some heat on it, and that made it worse. So
you would think after this many years, Book, you would know how to nurse an injury or
I'm
nurse
serious. No,
some.
that's the thing. I thought the heat would help me, but I swear, man, I put that heat on there, man. It made it like much worse. And then I put up an ice pack on it. Ice pack made it feel good, but I don't know if the ice pack just numbing the pain. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I feel much better because I got to get out of here come Saturday, man. We got a big show in Charlotte, North Carolina. But before we get there, I want to pay my respects to Lenny Poffo. Lenny Poffo passed away at the age of 68. The genius character in the WWE. And I was just with Lenny Poffo no more than 3 weeks to a month ago. We were filming some stuff in Connecticut for WWE Treasures. And man, he seemed perfectly fine. And that's the thing, man. You just don't know when your date is going to come, when that time is going to, you just don't know. But I just want to say condolences to the family. My heart goes out to you guys because I know that was something that was totally not expected. I just saw him. So my heart goes out to the family.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of WWF fans know him as the genius, as you pointed out. Also, the brother to the Macho Man, Randy Savage, and the son to Angelo Poffo, who is a great wrestler in his own right, especially in the Florida territory. I know that Angelo and Lanny Poffo were actually NWA Tag Team Champions at one point, which I'm sure was a thrill for him. And I remember when Mach was inducted into the Hall of Fame a few years ago, probably about 6 years ago at this point. Lanny's the one who did the induction, accepted it on Macho's behalf after Hogan did the induction speech. Yeah, it's really sad, man. Lanny Poffo, again, was one of those guys who in wrestling, although he never had the big success that his brother had or anything like that, he was someone who contributed to this industry. And I give him a lot of credit for keeping the Poffo family name alive and well, and people remembering not just his brother but his father. He did a lot of stuff to keep the legacies alive. And I don't know this intimately, but I have to think that he had a big part to do with the Macho Man finally getting into the Hall of Fame, because he was campaigning for it for quite some time. Because he said this, I believe, at one point, and I agree. He did an interview, I think, with Chris Jericho several years ago. But he said, is it really a Hall of Fame if the Macho Man isn't in it? Right. Yeah. And I think in a lot of ways it validated it. So rest in peace to Lenny. And you saw him for the Treasures thing. Did you notice anything? Was he looking in good shape?
I mean, he seemed perfect. He had a tight shirt on and everything, like he had been working out. I was actually complimenting him on the tight shirt. You know what I mean? And he was like, I wear these shirts to keep everything together. That's what he said. So he definitely he seemed perfectly fine. We're just wrapping up as far as the Macho Man Savage's stuff that we were looking for Treasures for Mach. And like I say, he seemed perfectly fine. And for me to open my phone and just looking for some stories for the show tonight, and that's the first thing that pop up today. I go, wow, man, just can't can't seem to catch a break, man. With guys falling, I mean, seemed like we just went through this a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah, with Briscoe and
Yeah.
now here we are with Lanny. I mean it's never easy. And 68, I saw some people like, oh man, he lived to 68, and I'm like, well, that's not a long time anymore, right? That's not a long time anymore. At one point, 68 felt like, oh, he had a long life, but now it's like if someone's in their 80s, you're still like, oh man, he probably had still so much to give, right? like,
Yeah, I don't
and
know, man. Seem like you don't hear about the longevity of life like you did in the past, as often, because like I said, my grandfather lived to be 102, and his brother lived to be 103. You know what I
great
mean?
genetics.
It seems like nowadays, if you get to that number 60, that's a long life, in this day and age, especially for these millennials, man. They don't even know about longevity in life or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just one of those things that definitely make you think. It make you think hard every day. Hug your kids tight, because we all got a birth date and we all got a death date as well.
So I was interested in what you just said regarding like the average lifespan. So get this. This is crazy. This shows you actually how, because your grandfather was born in the late 1800s, right?
1889.
1889. This shows you how much of an anomaly. Nate was his name Naaman James,
Yeah, Naaman
right?
James.
This shows you how much of an anomaly he was because in the U.S. in the year 1900, so 11 years after your grandfather was born, the average lifespan. This is nuts. The average lifespan was 47 years old, according to this Harvard EDU study. In 1950, it went up to 68. And by the end of 2019, it had risen to 79 is the average life expectancy
Wow.
in the US. So it tells you kind of your family, the Hubman family's got some great genes. You got some great genetics on at
Hey
least from
man,
your grandfather.
Rob, but still don't it doesn't make you feel any better,
I hear you.
when you see your comrades going down, you just don't know, something you get a ache, a pain. Wait a minute, is that it? Is this the big one? I feel like Fred Sanford every
Yeah.
day, man. Another bit. I'm coming to join you, honey. It's one of those type of deals, man. But
Didn't he actually have a heart attack?
I think so.
I think he actually had a heart attack. It's kind of
Man,
weird.
must have saw it coming, but
Red
man,
Fox.
it's crazy,
But
man. Crazy.
again, rest in peace to Lanny Poffo. It is always one of these things because I guess like you hear about people passing away every day. Unfortunately, it's just it's just a real fact of life. But when it's someone in the wrestling world, because we focus on it so much and we spend so much time around it, you've had your entire adult life in the wrestling industry. It does hit you a little different. You know what I mean? When it's one of the fraternity.
Man, no doubt, man. And it's a never ending story. That door is always, revolving. It never stops. Seems like, but it's just life. We put our boots on, man, and we march right into the line of fire, every day. And I think that's what life truly is, man. I think about it all the time, just because I got kids, I got 12-year-old kids, twin girls. I mean, twin boy and girl, and I have to be strong every day, no matter what, man. I got to be strong, I got to be the one that they look towards for strength. It's just like yesterday, man. My son, I made sure I made him some fried chicken, corn, uh, mashed potatoes, and gravy, and got to be strong, man. Got to be strong. Got to grow up strong because one day he's gonna be in that same position that I'm in. You know what I mean? And one thing about death. I've experienced it so many times, losing my father at such a young age, at 10 months old, losing my father when I was 13, losing my mother when I was 13 years old, losing my grandfather, you learn, man, to be strong because that's the only thing you can do. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Will Allday versus Cameron Cole. Texas champion versus Reality of Wrestling champion. Years in the making. Ex-best friend versus ex-best friend. I know what I'm getting into. I know you're one of the most exciting, high-flying wrestlers in the business today. And for every punch you have, Will, I know the counter punch. Long ago, the years where we used to train together, and I remember every move. I remember everything in your arsenal, Will. So what is it gonna take? You see, for me, I'll do whatever it takes, and you're gonna find that out, Will.
Will Allday versus Cam Cole once again. But this time it's gonna be different. It's not gonna be best friend versus best friend now. It's not gonna be me looking in your eyes knowing that at the end of this, we just wanna see who the better man is. Yeah, let's talk about that match. And Cam, I knew getting into the ring with you then, how good you were. Cam, I know now that you're even more dangerous. But Cam, you strayed. Ever since you and I faced in that last match, a year ago, something changed. And you started walking down this dark path where you would do anything to win, Cam. And you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like weakness.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. Big news. I know you guys heard Tom Brady retired again, right? But
Right.
I was just hearing that he's coming back out of retirement one more time.
No, he's not.
Yes,
Where'd you hear this?
I was just reading it. He's going to be signing with the Patriots.
No way.
Yes.
Is he doing one of those day contracts?
It's a one-day deal, man. Just a one-day
Oh,
deal.
I was about to say, book. Come on.
But you know, if he signed that one-day deal, he going to get the itch again.
He might.
You know
He
what
might
I'm
try
saying?
to organize a game real quick.
I'm serious, man. No, but I was just throwing that out there. But guys,
Well,
go ahead.
let me ask you this real quick. Let me ask you this because we're talking about football. What do you think about D'Amico Ryans being hired as the head
Oh.
coach of the Houston Texans?
I'm glad. I'm happy
Yeah.
about that, man. I'm happy to see a young brother get a shot.
Same.
You know, more than anything. Then you know, D'Amico Ryans, we drafted him. So he's at home. He knows, you know what's going on in the city. And my thing is this too, man. Remember what I said, many years ago, man. I said it many years ago about how young people are the future. And we're gonna have to start relying on young people so much more than we did in the past. Respect your young people. That's something that I really believe in. And for somebody like D'Amico Ryans, a young guy who can relate with that young team, I think it's the best decision made overall. Lovie Smith, he seemed like his energy level was just dead, and people might look at me and say, well, I mean, he's a brother. He deserves a shot. Okay, granted, I agree with that too. But if you ain't producing, I ain't, look here, let's move on. It's just as simple as that. If Lovie Smith had did a better throughout the season as far as just winning a few games, and not just winning a few games, but being ticked off when we lose. I want to see my coach mad, throwing stuff. I mean, not answering questions. You know what I mean? When we lose it, you know what I mean? But don't act like everything is fine and everything's okay, like there's no urgency there. So D'Amico Ryans, hopefully he'll come in and make a difference on that team.
Yeah, I think that everything that you just said, I couldn't echo it any more than that. D'Amico Ryans, a guy who's been a part of the system, knows what it's like to be a Texan. And a lot of the times I feel like, although Bill Belichick might have never played a down of NFL football, of course he's a great coach, but there is an element to being a member of a team before. I mean, why I think Steve Kerr's been successful as the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. He knows what it's like to play in a system like that where you have lethal shooters. And for D'Amico Ryans being a part of a system like the Houston Texans, he knows the ins and outs of the organization. And he also knows more than anything, probably better than anybody who's ever held the head coach position, he knows the shortcomings of the organization and hopefully how he can maneuver through them. And I go back to your your Ox Baker quote, right, of the obstacles. And I think that D'Amico Ryans is probably the best equipped to go under them, around them, over them, and through them.
You know, not only that, man, D'Amico Ryan, how old is this guy? Late 30s?
Late 30s, early 40s at the most. He's 38.
That's what I'm saying. I bet you he can beat every coach in the NFL playing Madden. And that's my
That's a
point.
shoot. That's a shoot.
I'm serious, man. I'm dead serious. You know, so yeah, man. I'm glad we pulled the trigger.
I think it's a great one. You have something you want to go to?
Yeah, man, I got to promote Vengeance Day going down this weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina, from the Spectrum Center. Right now, I guess we got about 7,000 people we're going to be catering to, which is the first time NXT has been back on the road in this new era, especially in post COVID. You know, I mean, it's the first time that they've hit the road again. So I'm pretty excited to be a part of it. Now being the voice of NXT, I'm looking forward to getting to Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're gonna have some fun. We've got 3 big matches that you guys definitely gonna want to pay attention to. The North American Championship, Wesley taking on Dijak, as well as that's North American Championship,
Mhm.
as well as the women's title is going to be on the line with Roxanne Perez, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane. Okay, not wait for that one, as well as Braun Breaker versus Grayson Waller for the NXT Championship. That one definitely got my radar turned up like to 100, just because this kid Grayson Waller, he's a talent, man. He reminds me so much of someone like the Miz, who got so much charisma. He's flamboyant, and then this kid actually, I don't know, he has a little bit. He may even have a little bit more flavor than someone like the Miz. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that match play out, because I'm definitely a Braun Breaker fan. No bread, no water, just meat. That one right there is gonna play out, as well as my girl Roxanne Perez. She got to go out there and represent reality wrestling like only she can. So let's get ready to head to Charlotte, North Carolina. Can't wait.
And you know what? Those matches that you highlighted, of course, I mean, that NXT title match being inside the steel cage always adds a great element, and it's a very North Carolina stipulation. I think about all the great cage matches Ric Flair had as a part of Jim Crockett Promotions in that Carolina territory, or in the Greensboro Coliseum as well. That's always a great throwback. And the other match, though, that is on my radar, there's 2, but one specifically, Carmelo Hayes, Apollo Crews, 2 out of 3 falls. I mean, this is the chance to steal the whole thing, right? Like 2 out of 3 falls with those 2 guys, man, that could be the match of the night.
I'm looking to see exactly what my man Carmelo brings, because Apollo is Apollo. He's a guy that's seasoned, that's been around for quite some time. But that kid's coming up, and Carmelo Hayes is definitely a guy that should be on everybody's radar. But I'm looking to see if I talk to that kid all the time, and I'm like, man, we gotta close a few holes in the game. We got to be able to fix a couple of flaws. You know what I mean? In order for you to really make an impact. So I'm going to be looking to see if my man Carmelo Hayes, that man looking down on everyone on top of the world, ma. I can't wait to see how that thing work out. That's just my little slogan for Carmelo Hayes.
Okay. As far as going back to Vengeance Day, I love Carmelo Hayes and that, and I also like this Fatal 4-Way for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The New Day, Gallus, Pretty Deadly, and Chase University.
I hate that one.
Because it has the New Day.
I mean, they just throwing all kind of shenanigans in this thing, man. I mean, you got 3 young tag teams, and you got the New Day, right? All right. And the thing is, the New Day has thrown up all kind of, smoke all kind of distractions. And in a situation like this, the most experienced team is going to have the advantage. Am I right?
You would think.
I mean, who would you think would have the advantage?
I would think the most seasoned team, most likely.
Exactly
I'd agree
my
with you on
point.
that one.
So this is a setup. This is a setup for the New Day to be able to walk in Charlotte, North Carolina, and walk out and still NXT champions because they keep getting the hell beat out of them on the main roster. They can't. That's what this is all about. Power, control. It's like being in politics right now for these guys.
I hear you. You're saying they've politicked their way to this position. They should be ashamed of themselves, really.
Look here. You see it, don't you? You see
I
it.
see it.
I mean, come on.
What am I hard to see?
These guys should not be in it. And so a lot of people saying, man, why Booker T hating on the New Day? Why Booker T turning heel on the new? Look, guys, I'm not a heel. All right. If I like you, I like you. If I don't like you, I don't like you. But if I don't agree with you, which I don't agree with the New Day and their tactics coming back to NXT, when we got Kofi Kingston, a former world champion, 10-time tag team champion. I mean, Xavier Woods. I mean, he won. I mean, come on, these guys. Come on here. Okay, look at you. Hear what I'm saying, Manny? You hear what I'm saying? Look at me in I was just looking at first 48 hours. Beverly Hills Cop just yesterday. I'm like Johnny Wishbone on this one right here. I'm serious, man. You know what I mean? Psychic extraordinaire. I see everything going on.
Kibbles and bits. Lutz and Biddle. It's like kibbles and bits. Well, you know what here? What you want to talk about another great movie from the 80s? This, or really, I guess, late 70s. This is like look, the New Day is like Apollo Creed looking at the Italian Stallion saying, this is going to be an easy one for me. This is going to be easy. I'm going to pick some young rookie who never done nothing in his life. And guess what's going to happen? They have a 25% chance of retaining. They got a 75% chance of losing. So I actually am walking in to Vengeance Day with a smile on my face because the odds are in our favor, Booker T. The politicians that are the New Day can be no more.
Like I say, man, these guys should be, you know what? They should be ashamed of themselves.
They really should be. It's disgusting.
I mean, Big E is probably sitting at home right now just thinking about this, man, and wondering what the hell has become of these two guys. We got to take a break. Stick around, I'm just telling it like it is. We'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
What's up, this Booker T, two-time Hall of Famer. I know you're checking out The Shine, checking out The Gloss. I want to thank you guys for checking out Row on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to click and subscribe to check out all the latest content right here each and every week. Now, can you dig that, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We got any super chatters.
We do have some super chatters here. I want to get to them right now. Let me go up to the top. We got this one from Unify Rex, who said, great storytelling with how Uso's feelings for Sammy were switched at the Rumble. Jimmy defended him the most, then ended up being the one to attack him. I think it was Jay who defended him the most, but that's okay.
Yeah. Now, you know what? The Bloodline storyline is making people feel. Sami Zayn's ability to be able to really take it to another level. The Usos definitely been guys that have been playing their role to perfection. Roman, people have been talking about, how good Roman has been over this last, couple of years, pretty much. I've been praising Roman Reigns for maybe even longer than that, as far as what this guy goes out in the middle of the ring and do with everybody that he works with. Everybody's a better worker when they walk out of that ring after working with Roman Reigns. So nothing but praise to those guys as far as being that's something that the guys in the locker room can look at and want to aspire to want to be in that spot, because you don't just slip on a banana peel and get in that spot. And then if you do slip on a banana peel and get in that spot, you're gonna have to do a whole hell of a lot of work to stay in that spot. And like I say, those guys been doing some hell of a work.
I agree with you, man. The Usos, and you know what? It also shows when there's a great story to be told, it can the story itself can elevate everybody's game, right? Not only has this story elevated Sami Zayn and the Usos in the eyes of the fans, right? To where they're the act that everyone looks for. And really think about it for the Usos. They've been around since like 08, 09, maybe 2010, but a long time, at least 13, 14 years. And for them to be having their hottest run 14 years in says a lot about how great this angle is. And like I said, it's elevated everybody to where, I mean, if I'm booking the show, Sami Zayn's about to work for the world title, in my opinion, at the Elimination Chamber. And who would have ever thought that, really? Like from El Generico to now working Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania last year. And now, boom, look at him. He's probably going to be working for the world title in the main event of a pay-per-view in his hometown. And it's because of the great storytelling that we've seen. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the growth of those guys, man. Those guys are the Usos, man, from reality wrestling to where they are right now, man. God, man, it's a major, major, major difference.
It's awesome. This is from Loso Dolo, who says, what are your favorite lines to say on commentary? I love it when you say, good night.
Yeah, you know why I say good night all the time? That's one of my favorite lines when I say good night, because there used to be this wrestler back in the day, and his name was Trent Knight. And I remember one of the commentators said, good night, Trent Knight. I was like, I like that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's definitely one of my favorite. You know, of course, shaggy duggy quack quack. You know, getting the shaggy duggy quack quack is always good. But you know, oh my God, that's one of my favorite. You know what I mean? Oh, notice, man. Oh, notice. When I put you on notice, I love that too. You know, it's over. When I talk like that, I got like an English accent too. You know, when I'm talking. So I just try to have fun when I'm at the table more than anything, man. Like I said, I'm not a traditional commentator or anything like that, but I try to make sure that I'm having fun. Me and Vic, you know, we try to bounce off of each other, and then hopefully the fans are being entertained at the same time. And the thing is, I know some people's gonna like it and some people not. You know what I mean? But I must tell you guys, I'm having my best time right now, and I'm living my best life. You know, being able to hang out with those young guys down there in NXT.
Have you ever? Because I think this happens, because it happened to me at Reality Wrestling. Do you ever have a line that you say that not only pops Vic, right, but you also pop yourself when you say it? Or you maybe a joke or something that was spur of the moment that hit you?
I do that all the time. I'll pop myself a lot. You know what I mean? I laugh at a lot of my own stuff. You know, it's stupid, right? But no, man, a lot of it is just spontaneous too. So a lot of time it's just spontaneous stuff. But like I say, I'm just trying to have fun more than anything, and I think that's what I you know, think about. You know, when I watch it as well, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, being entertained, having fun, you know what I mean, but still being able to be educated from a certain perspective as well, because people still like to hear it, you know, from a realistic perspective, as well as being entertained at the same time. So I'm having fun, you know, trying to balance it, you know, trying to have that balancing act.
Yeah, commentary can be fun. I remember one time, it was right when Will Alday, who's one of our big stars on Reality Wrestling, he had just started. He had real long hair at the time, and he had no real, you know, he hadn't really developed his character at all. He was in black tights, that was it, and he was working one of our guys, and he was like an enhancement guy, and this guy named Van Harrison. So he was working Van, and boom, Van hits him with this big clothesline, and it turns Will like inside out. And I just remember hitting the line like, he just turned Will all day and no, he just knocked Will all day into Will next week, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember it popped, and it's corny now that I say it, but it popped me at the time to I had to
I
hit
remember
mute for a
that.
second.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty funny.
Oh, heck yeah, man. No, seriously, man. I swear, man. Working with Vic too is it's so easy. But working in front of the NXT talent is so easy as well because those guys,
Yeah.
man, they are like freaking pinball, man. They're like all over the place. It never stops. I'm serious. It's like very fluid. It's moving. You know what I mean? And so for me, as well as when guys make mistakes, I can actually really call the mistake because they are still young. They are still working, the way through the process. So for me, I'm in my best place. Seriously.
My favorite thing on commentary, because obviously it's our job as commentators to enhance the match, right? And tell the story, help get that over, as we say. My favorite thing though is when one of the guys or girls who's working, when they go for something, say a drop kick, and they miss by about this much, right? Like you can see it doesn't connect well. My favorite thing to say is you don't call that out, right? But you always say, well, it doesn't look like they got all of that one.
Exactly.
That's the commentary way of covering it up, right? I don't
Yeah,
think he got all of that.
Yeah. Another one of my favorite things to say is not even a word. All right. It's just, oh. Another one been getting over though is Hottie Biscotti, man. This Hottie Biscotti. Hottie Biscotti been like really getting over. So I don't know. I got a whole bunch of lines, man. I'm always doing that.
Hottie Biscotti's funny. I mean, I remember back in the day you hit the she's hotter than a Mexican plate lunch. I'll tell you that, with extra hot sauce.
With hotter than that Cholula green, dog.
Cholula green.
That's one of my favorite ones too.
Hotter than that Cholula green. I'm stealing that.
Oh, no, steal my stuff, man.
I'm stealing that one. Hotter than the Cholula. I'm making a note of it.
Hotter than that Cholula green.
We got another super chat here from Joe Compton, who I already know the answer to this question. Can we please get one more Mania match out of Booker T? You truly deserve the moment.
Bro, come on, man. I'm done, man. I'm done this time. I'm serious, man. This Rumble, and let me know, man. Like I say, the adrenaline, that I got out of it, the rush, what a rush it was. You don't get tired of it. It never gets old. That never gets old. But the old body does. Okay. The old body, man, just, you can't push yourself too hard like that. Man's got to know his limitations. And just making that 40-yard walk that I had to make it to Alamo Dome, let me know that I don't need to be nowhere near that ring, man. I appreciate you guys, man. I love you guys for thinking about me like that. I really do. But, man, that's a young man's game. And that's why, like I say, when I made the quote, when people was talking about, going through job me out, and I say, I'd rather do the job for Gunther any day opposed to him doing the job for me. It's about these young guys, man. It's about those guys like a Gunther getting their champagne wishes and caviar dreams, getting the rocket put on them, sending them straight to the moon, all right? Keeping this business alive and well. That's what this thing's about. I tell people my appearance in the Royal Rumble, it was like one of those high-dollar Super Bowl commercials. You know what I'm saying? You gonna love it. You know what I'm saying? But that's it's not there for the whole show. It's just there for a minute. You know what I mean? So that was me, one of them high-dollar Super Bowl ads where you just go crazy when you see it.
You're like the Clydesdales, the Bud Light Clydesdales, right? You just see it. You see them once a year, and you like that 30-second spot.
That is.
We have another one from. Well, we might take a break. Do we have to take a break?
Yeah, we gotta take a break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
How well do you think you know your wrestling? I've prepared some trivia questions right here for you, so let's go and take a look. How was that? I hope you did well. Now let's throw it back over to Brad and Booker for the Hall of Fame.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. Super chats. Let's roll.
Yes, we have another one here. This from Cali Toenail. What's up, Cali Book? You said Monday that the Rip shouldn't go after Charlotte just yet, and the same night, that's exactly what she did. You think she made a mistake?
It's got to be a master plan. It's got to be something going on there as far as insider knowledge that I have no clue or idea about. As far as, I don't know, Charlotte Flair might have a movie come. I don't know what it is. But for Rhea Ripley to call that shot against Charlotte Flair, she got to be feeling really confident as far as, you know, what's about to happen. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I was pretty sure, especially after we talked, that she was going to go after Bianca. And now I'm kind of curious of what Bianca's opponent's going to be, or who is going to be her.
You know what? I'm curious about that too. Yeah.
'Cause I don't really know where they're going to go from here.
I mean, I just knew it was going to be her and, you know, Bianca and Rip, just because I felt like, you know, to hold off on that thing with Charlotte. But, you know, I don't know. Charlotte, you know, she's a big money player, man. She's got a lot. I think she's represented by William Morris Endeavors. Am I correct?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So she got a lot. She got a lot on her plate, I'm sure.
I know Charlotte has a show coming out where she's like starring in a new version of Walking Tall.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? So, like I said, this could have a lot of implications as far as what in store for Charlotte future outside of wrestling. And you're always going to need that person to, you know, step in there and, you know, keep everything rolling.
We have another super chat here from Brooklyn Brian, who says the Booker T Spinaroonie at the Royal Rumble was great. Agreed. You got the revolution. I know that's all you wanted. You wanted one revolution.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm still feeling it too, man. My back's killing me right now, you know. So I hope you guys loved it. I hope you got your money's worth because I'm paying for it. I'm paying for it right now, big time. But it was awesome, man. Just to know that I could still do the Spinaroonie at 57, that's a goal, bro. That right there is something huge for me. So I'm loving it, but I don't plan on experiencing that too often. But trust me, if the money is right, look here, you know, like Tiger Conway said, the money is gone. If the money is there, we'll pull out a Spinaroonie. Trust me.
We'll figure it out. Even if we got to Cirque du Soleil you and, like, you know, get you on some wires and make it happen.
Okay, I'm serious.
You know what? I do need to read this because this was a super chat we missed on last show. Jamal Stoudemire says, BK, should Jey Uso, I guess you're BK, I think he meant BT. Should Jey Uso be nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor? Because from the beginning of the Bloodline story to now, his acting has been on point. We were just talking about them in a previous segment. Yeah, on fire.
No, no doubt, man. And that's what the business really, truly is. You know, you can go out there and wrestle all you want. But until I, you know, came to the WWF and really start learning character building, you know, I wasn't, you know, nowhere near where I needed to be as far as an entertainer goes. So when WWE brought me in and I got a chance to start doing the stuff with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then I got to start doing stuff with Goldust, you know, with Test. You know, I really started learning how to really hone in on my acting chops, you know, and that's what the Usos, that's what the Bloodline has brought to the table. Even Roman's acting has gotten a whole lot better. You know what I mean? So it really is about trying to find that levity. You know what I mean? That even ground where you're good at both. But I'm gonna tell you right now, you cannot be one without the other. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, this goes back to my earlier point of just when a great story can elevate all parties. You know, was it a rising tide lifts all ships? And that's what we're seeing right now. This is an interesting one from Cali Toenail, who says, if you could bring back one thing in wrestling, a superstar, a pay-per-view, a band move, a belt, who or what would it be? If you could bring back one thing,
it would be the enhancement match on a regular basis. That's all it would be. Just because I know that, if it wasn't for guys like, the Cuban assassin back in the day, Brady Boone. If it wasn't for those guys, man, putting me over and getting me over, on a weekly basis, Frankie Lancaster, I remember all those guys, man. Those guys used to bump their asses off for us on a weekly basis, making us stars, man, making us big stars. And I think that's the one thing that I think the business needs to bring back more than anything.
That's a great answer. As far as the enhancement talent, I do miss that on the show. And it would let your top guy wrestle, but not have like a pay-per-view quality match on free television, right? Like, how many times have we seen things that you could theoretically see as the main event of a pay-per-view or even a WrestleMania on Monday Night Raw? I know they got 3 hours. You can't put it all be those kind of matches on there, but I don't want to see honestly, and I might be in the minority here, especially because Roman's done it really well. And if you're trying to build like someone like Cody, I don't want to see him wrestle on every show. I want to see him. But I don't want to see him wrestle on every show.
I really think that's what, I think that's what's killing the UFC. Having the number one contenders fight every fight. And my thing is, in boxing, throw me the number 12 guy. All right. Throw me number 10, number 15. I'm the champ, but I want to be able to dictate who I'm going to fight, when I'm going to fight them, because when I do fight that number one contender, that's undefeated, man, we both finna make a whole lot of money. So I think that's what the strategy is behind, the enhancement matches. Give those guys, those stars a chance to go out there and still be able to shine. Like for me, I love watching Jake the Snake. I didn't care who he was wrestling. I just wanted to see that short arm clothesline, and I wanted to see that DDT, and I want to see him, cover him, go to sleep. Let's go home. I was happy, man. I was so happy. But then I knew Jake was going to have to wrestle perhaps JYD somewhere down the line. I was like, oh man, when that happened, we really got some bench to see. So that's what I think is missing more than anything, the enhancement matches.
That's a great answer. I love that answer. You know what? Speaking of enhancement, I wanted to ask you about this because there's a story going around like that Brock Lesnar has a little bit of heat on him from the Royal Rumble because he did things that were unplanned in the match and after the match. Now, I want to say this, and I don't know what your opinion is. We haven't talked about it. And you might differ from me. I don't know if he did anything that was so out of pocket that would earn him negative marks or demerits. But I will say what he did proved to me that he was angry. He looked like an angry guy for getting eliminated from the Royal Rumble, which is supposed to be a very important match that would get you in the main event of WrestleMania for a world title. So him throwing the referee or, hitting the commentary table, I don't really see.
Whoever wrote that story, man, they should be fired. They really should. As far as what do they call heat? What do they know about heat? Right. First of all, I mean, what do they know about heat? If Brock Lesnar got heat, trust me, he's not going to know about it.
Nobody's telling Brock, hey, Brock, you shouldn't have done that.
Who's going to go tell him? Who's going to tell him? You know what I mean? Because this guy's drawing money to the show. All right, that's why. I mean, he's a major player. He's Brock Lesnar, and my thing has always been I've never cared about heat. As long as the boss didn't, if the boss didn't say I had heat, I never had heat. So I don't think the boss is going to tell Brock Lesnar. I don't think the boss is going to formulate the words. You got heat with us, Brock Lesnar. I don't think that's going to happen. So when I first saw that story, I just shook my head and went, wow, somebody, really had to go there to where Brock Lesnar's got heat. In what locker room? I've never seen Brock dress in the locker room in these last, 10, 15 years. You know, he's a big star. He's got his own bus. So when I hear stuff like that, in what locker room are they talking about?
Yeah, I agree. Again, you know better than I, but I find that to be funny that him enhancing his story, right, by doing stuff that wasn't planned out spot for spot, move for move, get you heat. I think that that's kind of an old school mentality that Brock's got of let me sell this thing because I just got eliminated from the Royal Rumble unexpectedly.
Hey,
Like
man,
I'm pissed.
I think he did his job. I think he did his job.
I agree. I know we're gonna have to stay a couple minutes longer than the segment just because we have more super chats. This is from Brooklyn Brian, who says, "Great to see Roxanne Perez get some revenge on Toxic Attraction this past Tuesday on NXT. Let's go, Roxanne."
I gotta work on Roxanne's ghetto. Her ghetto life, her street style, her thug passion. You know what I mean? I gotta work with her on that. No, I'm serious. You know what I mean? Because she's throwing those white girl punches. You know, we got to fix that. When you start just throwing them blind, we got to fix that. I was glad to see the revenge thing, but we definitely got to hone in on the targeting. Let's say the targeting mechanism.
There we go. I love it. I love it. Hey, you know what, Mish? You gotta learn, right? Help her out, Book. Help her out, damn it.
I'm gonna talk to her about that. Because trust me, that's the first thing I saw was she just was wailing. She had no accuracy, no point placement. You know what I mean?
That's funny. I love Roxanne, but here's the thing: it's great because she's so young in the business and she's already so good. You know, right now, what you're doing, and it's what you should do as a coach. You're nitpicking. You're finding the things that she needs that she doesn't do well already to add to her arsenal. So
Trust me, bro. I work with all of them, and I'm going to point out every little thing because that's my job.
This is from Brooklyn Brian again. We have several more super chats. We'll get to them all, I promise. Oh, Brooklyn Brian said Cody Rhodes said to bring back the Winged Eagle WWE Championship. Yes, I've been seeing him do that a lot. Talk about that a lot.
How cool would that be for the heritage? Just for
it'd be cool for the heritage.
The thing is, they may not keep it for a long time, but just to be able to bring it back for Cody and what it would mean for Cody to be able to have that Winged Eagle belt, the one that Dusty would have been striving to capture once upon a time. I think that's a story there more than anything. So yeah, I'm all about the story, and yeah, man, it's just a prop anyway. It's just a belt. You know what I mean? So
it's just a belt.
Yeah.
I know wrestling fans hate hearing that, but it's true. It's just a prop. And Cody brought back the IC, the old school IC title when he became Intercontinental Champion. Remember, he brought back the white strap, Mr. Perfect IC title, Randy Savage IC title. So I see why people are putting that on him. And you know what? If it makes sense, it makes sense. I wouldn't mind it back for a short time. I do like the titles now. I understand why the titles look the way they look, because that Winged Eagle title, you know where that WWF logo is? It's about that big, way at the top, and it's in gold, and you can't really even see it.
You can't even see it. Yeah.
And this one, guess what? The whole belt is the logo. Like who's belt
this. You can't miss this one. Yeah. I like the titles. You know what I mean? And to go back in time would be for nostalgia purposes only.
Yes. Yeah. 100% for a short time. This from Aaron C.
Just like me coming out to Royal Rumble.
Nostalgia.
That's it.
This from Aaron C., who says, do you see Brock ever getting back into the title picture, or is that over with? I think he's always in the title picture.
I think Brock Lesnar's always in the title picture. He's a guy that you can always put the belt on, and he's believable. You're going to be wondering who's going to beat him. You know what I mean? It's just because just think, people going to want to see Gunther and Brock Lesnar. That's something, and to be able to see that for a title, I think would even add, more fuel to that fire right there. So, yeah, as well as people still want to see Brock and Bobby in a title in that picture as well would definitely be, something that will be warranted. So I see Brock Lesnar definitely still being in the picture.
This is from Big Daddy 1317. 61 says, I would bring back Harlem Heat. Now, can you dig that, Booker?
You know, man, Harlem Heat, man, we had a hell of a run. Yeah, we did, man. You know, and the thing is, I'm not going to sit here and lie and wish, you know, that we didn't, you know, have a run in WWE and get a chance to really, you know, put a stamp on, you know, our careers. You know, it just wasn't meant to be. Just wasn't meant. You know what I mean? My brother had, you know, other plans at that time. And it just wasn't meant to be, man. But definitely, if I could go back in time and change one thing, it would be, you know, Harlem Heat having a run in the WWE and really getting a chance to show those guys how good we really were, because that's what my thing was all about when I came over to WWE. I wanted to prove that all of those guys in the locker room that I could work with all of them. I was just as good as anybody. That's what my goal was. I knew how good I was in WCW, but I did not know how good. I wanted to test myself with the best talent in the world, and that talent was in the WWE, and I felt like I did a pretty good job.
I think you did too.
And
I think
Harlem Heat would have did a hell of a job as well.
I think y'all would have been great. I think that's all the super chats we have, so we're about to wrap up. I do want to plug one thing before we get out of here. That came out today on BET Plus. I was a part of a documentary called Memory Builds the Monument, and it's done by my guy Chill about the legendary music venue, The Monument, here in the 5th Ward area, Houston. I was privileged to be a part of it, so I just want to encourage everybody, if you have BET Plus, go check it out, and you can see me on there. Just want to plug that.
Check it out, guys. Check it out. Do it. Do it now. Do it for you. I mean, we got to get up out of here. We got to get up out of here, man. I got some chicken on right now. I got to go get to tend to. But I just want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame. I'm serious, man. Always super chatters, man. We appreciate you guys. We love you. And Bradley, as always, man, appreciate you for making everything work. We got to get up out of here, man. We'll see you guys same time, same place, right here inside the Hall of Fame. Peace. We out.